Hey, Wolves, how you doing?
Yo, yo, how's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah.
How's it going over in the new dad world?
You know, it's about as tiring as you'd expect. Just keeping up with all the things and trying to figure out how to solve the Rubik's Cube that is a baby.
Just keep doing it.
yeah,
That's the solution.
yeah,
That's the only day is you just keep doing it,
yeah.
and then eventually old problems disappear and are replaced with new problems.
Yeah, you never clear more than like one side at a time. Like you get up close to clearing one side of the cube and then like it just finds new ways, you know. But yeah, no, that's
But
going.
then you look at them and you're like,
Yeah, well, but then, and I mean, like even like again, just always brand new versions of things. It's like, okay, so spitting up, how much spit up is too much spit up? You know, is it like, are you now, are you gonna be hungry again because you spat up half of what you just ate? Um,
yes.
yes, it seems to be the answer. Seems to be the answer. Yeah.
I got really lucky, dude. My little guy spit up once. That was one of the we made it all the way out of the infant stage and we're like nailed it. That dodged that one 100%. We didn't dodge the sleep talking baby scream thing. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, the
Just
noise.
dead asleep and go
Okay.
like just oh my god.
Haven't had that yet. We get sleep coos, you know. Sleep coos are nice.
That's so cute.
Sleep coos are cute. But no, it's more of a yeah, like the spit up occurs and it seems to be based on the speed at which milk is ingested. So slow it down. But wait, they're gonna the speed that they want the milk at.
They're gonna get mad, dude.
Yeah. So you're fighting against yourself, and anyway, you know, there is all that.
How's Punch Mom doing?
Doing good, you know. Yeah, is you know, we're doing the back and forth there. Apparently something we learned is that part of postpartum development is that like there's all these crazy things that were like, again, you thought we were learned a bunch of, and then it's like no, there's more stuff coming. And so like
there's a bunch of shit they didn't tell you so you couldn't back out.
Yeah, one of the things that we got from a nurse was that the sleep cycles of postpartum mothers like actually change to be more adapted towards baby. So
yeah,
like while, you know, the other parent is like just going through their regular sleep into REM, you know, crash cycles, mother drops into the dream state immediately and gets a deeper sleep right away within that 2 to 3 hour period and comes back out and is like, it's still rough, but it's like the body is adjusting to let the sleep skip the first and second phases and just get right into REM and back out, you know, which is nuts.
So there's another process in human biology that mimics that behavior. Are you familiar with it?
Maybe I forget.
It's called sleep deprivation.
Sleep dep, yeah.
When you're sleep dep, you skip phase 1 and 2.
Okay.
And go straight to 3 and 4.
So yeah, I guess that's what
might be related, might be.
But that apparently that's a part of what affects moms, you know.
You know what? It's probably. I'm curious. Is this affecting both of you guys? Because it affected me and Paige, where you went from like I'm a normal sleeper, I have a normal sleep depth, to I think I heard something 2 blocks away. Does that mean the baby is in trouble? Oh,
yeah, of course, both, and that stays on at all times for sure. You know, and we're still figuring out the system, but for the most part, you know, besides shifts, There's things where it's like, well, for example, like to do like a podcast like today or so, because the fact that there's this, I'm continuing to do this part means it's like, okay, I do have to get some rest before,
That's
doing
true,
this, and then put the work in to do it, and then afterwards as well. So that means, like a longer period of time before a tag out shift can happen. And then similarly, I will take later shifts to do like some bottle feeds to let her get a longer shift, in certain places. So it's just, it's an ebb and a flow and a back and forth of it.
Hey, Woolie, good on you for being such like a cooperative and attentive dad. It's very different from our parents' generation.
It's that, well, yeah. I mean, hey, I'm here. So there's that.
No, I don't mean that.
But yes, no, it is not. It is different. Thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, it is very different for sure.
I don't mean that, Woolie.
Yes, no, it's crazy different. And what I will say is, it's more logical in the sense that like being up early damages me more than it damages her. And being up late damages her more than it damages me. So
no, you run into all these setups where you're like, if you wrote this down on paper, it's like, is that unfair? And it's like, no, but it's not the same on paper. So like, for example, I have an easier time waking up in the morning than Paige does. Right. And the reason why that is because the boy tends to kick and claw at her at night more than he kicks and claws at me. So I get up at 6 or 7 or whatever. But also because I'm dad, he's more likely to play with his blocks and toys for me in the morning. Okay. Whereas in the morning, if Paige gets up with him at 7, it's mom, Play-Doh, mom. And it's like it's completely different.
Yeah. There's also the problem where like, okay, so if we want to optimize like battery recharges, if I can run the whole night shift and then, skip the feed and give a full double shift, while
I did a couple of those
while she stays asleep, that'd be great. But 3 a.m. is premium breast milk hours.
Yeah.
And that's the time where it matters the most because you can produce the most, you can up your supply the most, and like,
but still like having to do that, but also having to feed the child and then put the child back down, and the whole
thing. No, for sure. And so it's just like sacrifice whatever you need to keep your sanity. Make sure that you don't want to make it so that you can't like function. But like there's these things where they go, if you can make one of these happen, make sure it's that 3 a.m. one, because between 2 and 5 is when this is and then you're like, oh my God, like, so that starts to matter more. And before you know it, we're walking out of the like, so there's CLSCs, which is the whatever, like a
public health clinic.
Public health clinic, exactly, like in Quebec. And and then we're catching words that we never heard before. We're learning about day milk and night milk.
Oh yeah, day milk and night milk, absolutely.
And then you want
to separate those.
Okay. Well, so here's the thing, and like we cross-reference that with other nurses that we are talking to, because we have some people that are just like, okay, we have a good resource of someone that's like, is this a real thing? Is this some bullshit? And thankfully they've been pretty solid on that. And it's like, okay, so the day milk and the night milk thing, it sort of exists, but there's not a whole lot of conclusive.
It's not like a 50% difference.
It's not a slam dunk, and also there's a whole lot of like misconceptions and misunderstandings about what it's supposed to be. What it's implied to be is not exactly what you're getting. And furthermore, some parents, some moms, literally just the milk they get later in the day has more of one or the other in it.
Oh, everybody's
right?
different.
So the idea is supposedly that like there's day milk in the morning. It has more what was it? Night milk in the night has more melatonin, and that makes baby sleepier, but that also makes mom sleepier. So that gets expressed into both, and thus you both baby and mom get rest out of that. But then furthermore, morning milk, day milk has more cortisol in it, and that's better for getting energy and breaking up for the day. Exactly. and so on. And so apparently, depending on when you pump and when you feed, if you pump some cortisol day milk and you feed it at night, that might whatever. And it's like,
Yeah, this shit only matters if you can get a surplus.
so there's that, right? And then also, like, again, double checking that with a trusted registered nurse that we know that is aware on things. She's like, don't, she was upset that we were told about it, because she's like, stop, this is not, especially if you're trying to just, if you're trying to keep up and manage things and keep keep a healthy supply and keep sane, do not start worrying about these details.
Don't min-max your baby.
It's insanity, right? And
don't do it.
And she's like, I'm mad that you guys started hearing about that. Furthermore, they could have even gotten worse, because then you start, not only is there day milk and night milk, but then you could go further into it to get fore milk and hind milk. Have you heard about fore milk and hind milk?
Yes.
So, folks, besides there being a conceptual milk for the morning and milk for the night, there is also, during a particular feed, the fore milk, the first drops have more of a certain buildup of fat to other ingredients, and then the hind milk that comes afterwards has less, and so the composition has different effects. So if
and you want to be careful, because you want to express all the hind milk, because if you don't, then you can get a clogged duct, and you don't want a clogged duct because it hurts.
And you're like, okay, the min-maxing insanity. You can dive forever into this level of
oh no, it's infinite. Just give the baby milk, and when the baby messy, clean the baby, and when the baby's sleepy, put the baby in a crib.
That's it.
And hug the baby, and tell baby good baby.
But it's for those mothers who have to dive deep into the item world. They can discover
the Disgaea mothers.
Yes, for the Disgaea mothers can discover more about the fore milk, hind milk, day milk, and night milk. Champion of the sun. So proper, like, that's one of those where it's like, okay, those words, erasing those from just immediately, that's done. Wrote them down so I could bring them up today and never again. Fuck that. I have also, I guess, discovered the worst gacha system. My least favorite.
Worse than the Labubu's.
My least favorite gacha system.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm calling it the Diaper gacha system.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because you never know what's waiting after you're like, oh, I think.
You know what, Woolie? You know what? I'm gonna reverse this on you.
Yeah.
This is the best gacha system.
Is it?
Because with time and practice, you go from I have no idea what's in here to I will always know what's in here.
Well, okay, where we're at,
you eventually get to the part where you can look at the child and be like, I know what you got going on in there.
So I've seen.
Come here.
So that's the thing, is I have seen. There's always that, like, you got one pull, right? And what is that? That's the sound of you hearing purr, and you go, oh Jesus, okay, fuck, right? And then what comes next? And you're like, well, other times you might see the knees bend a bit, and you might see like a. And you're like, all right. But you don't know for sure what's going on, right? And so, take a look, and I'm like, that sounded bad. But waking you up is also a part of this process. So changing is also a wake up. So that's good. Let's get all emergency measures on the table. Fucking red alert.
Suit on.
Battle stations are go. Got the diaper cream even needed if I see any irritation, and open it up, and hey, we're clean. Nothing in there.
False alarm.
That was just a fart. Okay.
Joke's on you. I was waiting for you to open the diaper.
Ambush. Yes. So great. That's a great gacha system, right? So I'm like, awesome. We got some good stuff going on there. And then, other times you're like, okay, well, it's been too long now. So I know.
Oh man.
I know that there is a a pity system
Bro,
in play here, where it's like, oh, we were in the clear for too long, so a reverse pity system is here, and like you put the baby down and it's heavier, and you're like,
bro, one of the worst feelings, like genuinely, of like taking care of an infant is like you're supposed to have I think it was 12 to 14 dirty diapers a day in the early infant stage, and was supposed to be like 8 to 10 wet.
Yep. We're talking
2 to 4
six
like
wets,
full.
6 wets, and 6 wets and 3 dirties are what you're looking for.
Sure, but I'm sorry, I forgot the numbers.
Yeah,
but right,
yeah.
And then you hit like day 3, and you're like, there's trouble coming my way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because it's been too quiet out here. There's a trouble. There's a trouble coming my way.
Storms brewing. You know, and you know when you see the little glow of purple on the on the gate. Or the rainbow gate before your horse girl runs out, or you see the little purple Overwatch coin shoot into the air.
Yeah.
That little like preview of a good thing is about to happen. You even have that ability because folks, what they have on the diapers is on the bottom. There's a yellow line, and only when pee is detected, that line turns blue. You know, so you can put the baby down and already get a preview of the color where you're like, oh, okay. But if you're lucky, it's just a blue line, and you open it up and you're like, oh, cool, easy, it's just pee.
You know, I found that blue line to be totally useless. I found it to be totally useless.
I find it very handy.
So no, here's the thing. I did find it handy, and then I found it useless.
Huh? Well, how so?
Because it becomes like, well, you hit a point in which, like, to some degree, the line is always blue.
Okay, so for us, it's,
and then you're like, well, no, now I'm actually just running it on a timer. Has it been 90 minutes?
Okay.
To 2 hours? Change.
Okay, right.
Like every single time.
Right now, it's random. It's completely random, and and because I'm recording everything, all the data is going down because we're counting it.
Are you Excel spreadsheeting your child?
It's not an Excel spreadsheet, it's an app, right? And it's an app that like basically goes, hey, it's been 3 hours, breastfeed now, right? And while you're at it, there's a button that says change diaper. There's a button that says, when's the last time you did that? When's the last time you did a vitamin D drop, for example? You got to do one of those every morning, right? So just little things like that, and then it's like, and you can set reminders, so it's nice because you basically have like we got recommended to basically like track this type of stuff, because if you're going, wait, how many poops was it for the day? No, guys, no, stop. You don't know what you're talking about. If you have to count a certain number of pees, poops, feeds, changes, cord cleaning, because the umbilical cord has to fall off, and there's a number of cord cleans you have to do as well. There's a lot of data you need to track in the first couple of weeks of a baby's life, that if you're not keeping track of all that, you want to do the best job possible. You want to make sure that
it's so weird, because like we're at 2 different life stages here, and like I vividly remember me and Paige tracking everything. But it wasn't, we weren't writing it down. We were just conferring with each other. When's the last time you changed him? I changed him and you'd look at your phone and time it. I changed him at X amount of hour. When did you last change him? I changed him at this time. Okay, well, how much time is that? That was 72 minutes? Okay, that's time for change or a check anyway.
I mean, like,
but then that segues into vibes.
Later on, for sure, after a couple months, I'm sure.
That segues into like a pat on the butt going, but you need a new one.
So the book is not here. I was going to grab for it, but there's a book that's like the guide, for the provincial guide. It's like Toddlers to Tots. It's a thick book that has like all the things from pregnancy to delivery to postpartum and so on, and they give you, there's literally charts in there, right? And so there's fact sheets and charts and things that are like on a day-to-day basis from day 1 to week 1 to week 2, all these things, the number is changing, the color of poops is changing, the color is crazy.
And
then also if you're feeding with a bottle, you need to know how many milliliters extra per day. So you're counting 5 extra milliliters per day up to a certain point. There's so much data that if you just go, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna wing it, you're gonna get a lot of that wrong. So all this to say that there's a number of like apps out there that track this stuff. And yes,
this is not necessarily an exact science down to the milliliter.
Of course,
you're not getting it wrong if you're a single milliliter off.
Okay, no, that's not what I'm saying or implying. However, there is there's a lot of it that they keep open-ended, where they're like, we're not going to tell you that, like, some of the parts, because I also looked up beyond this one I also just looked online at others, and some of them were like, oh, give your baby 1 ounce, right, if you're with a bottle at this phase, give your baby 2, or right, give your baby 60 milliliters or up to 90, or whatever the case is. And there's a wide range, and the idea is your baby will tell you how they're feeling about how much they got. You'll know fairly easily, fairly quickly, based on how they respond, based on the speed of how you feed them, whether they're fussy afterwards, and so on, and diaper changes and everything. So you do learn about it, but they basically are giving you that range. And fortunately, if you overdo it with like feeding, for example, they'll spit up and it'll let you know, hey, they had too much, But the point I'm getting at is the amount of things we're tracking here. When I look at the book they hand you, and it says, 6 wet diapers and at least 3 dirty diapers for starting on phase day 5, but like the day before that, the numbers were all different and stuff. I'm like, okay, so I'm using this app and counting that stuff out. So when we're marking, I see the blue line, I go, oh, that's a wet diaper. That's one of 3 for the day that were needed. Okay, cool. Everything's on regular track.
Now, Woolie, I'm going to tell you something you're not going to want to hear, which is, especially because you're a numbers guy and you love to track this stuff.
Sometimes it won't be accurate or right or wrong. Sometimes it'll be out the window.
Well, no, it's just laws of averages don't preclude for outliers,
of
right? So
not.
my guy was like a pound underweight, well, not underweight, but he was like a little baby, and so you had to alter like the whole curve of the graph. You know what the nightmare graph is? You know what the one that's fucked up is? Is milestones for like speech and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
It's assuming you have a little girl, which is fine for you because you have a little girl. But little girls are like 8 months more advanced than little boys when they're like 1 and 2.
That's super
and so you're looking at the fucking milestone, you're like, holy shit. What the fuck? Oh wait, no, he's a boy. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I and with all of these things, there's the heavy caveat of like everyone's different, everything can go out the window, of course. But I just want to look and go like, while we're tired and not paying attention, to go like, wait, how many times did you pee yesterday? Oh shit, once? That's a little low. Okay, what about the day before that? Oh, 7? Okay, we're fine. As opposed to 1, 1, 2, that seems pretty low. Let's call somebody and ask, hey, what do you think?
No, there was only one number on that whole chart that I got really worried about, and it ended up being completely fine, and we were worrying for nothing. But it was like, 0.
Okay.
0.
Okay.
And then you're at day 4, and you're like, all right, we're gonna go down to urgent care.
What's going on?
No, wait, don't.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. There's a couple of those for sure. There's some where you look at it and you're like, that doesn't seem right, and then at one point the nurse is like, okay, let's measure. And then they pull out like a chart and start calculating graphs into the future.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, well, on this date you had this number, and on this date you had that number. So based on this chart, yeah, you're fine. And you're just
Have
like,
you done the height, weight, percentile graph weighing at like the health center yet?
We did the weight, which is like the, how much of your birth weight do you get back to, And so yeah, we checked out some of those. We checked out there's little things out there. There's like like jaundice numbers for like yellow
Yeah.
scale, and you're like, oh, what do those numbers mean, and then it's like, yeah,
How much jaundice they got?
and it's like, okay, well, they're all gonna get some, but
they
how,
all come out a little jaundiced.
but then you're like, and then that's got to get out of their system through pees and poops, so then you're gonna see yellow diapers for a while, but for the most part, baby pee is supposed to be clear, right?
Yeah.
And then some crystals start showing up, and you're like, wait, what? So yeah, wild shit overall. But anyway,
it's such a fascinating time, because you're like looking at the floor, and you're going, every day is a miracle.
I also
and you mean it.
Yeah. The things that I hate are when like two very reasonable, two respectable sources of information conflict with each other, and then you go
ignore them both.
Yeah, and well, I'm just like, okay, well, here's a stick. Now you two need to fight to the death, and then the winner will be right. Because like even stuff where they're like, okay, we stocked up on pseudo-creme, right? And that's your diaper cream. And then it's like, okay, what do you need this for? And it's like, all right, well, if you see diaper rash start kicking in, and diaper rash should only, and that shouldn't be a problem unless I think, the baby skin is very sensitive, or if there's too long between diaper changes, if you don't catch them quick enough, then they can start to get irritated and red and then rash up. So then you got to put some of that cream on.
Yeah, the instant you see that red, you grease that baby up.
Right. Well, okay. Well, no, because one source said it's for rashes. So if you're on top of it quick enough and you don't see too many issues with the diaper change and irritation, then, you're fine to just keep going regular and just pay attention.
Grease them.
And then the other person said, if you see any red at all, go for it, right?
Grease them.
And so I'm like, okay,
get that calendula cream and just grease them.
And then how do you apply? And then be looking at it. So there's two schools of thought on whether to go preemptive on a lot of diaper cream or just like wait for the rash. Looking online with the official usage of it, trying to find what the middle ground is. There's also some folks. It's like, okay, so are you supposed to spread it thin and buttery across as much of the area? And it's like, no, cream cheese it. Right?
No, man, I'm making a Chicago style hot dog over here.
You're icing a cake. You're icing a cake. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're learning.
Like I'm gonna need to trade the child off to mom, because I'm gonna need to spend like 4 or 5 minutes washing my hands.
You're layering it on. So we got these spreading tools that are pretty handy, like that stick to stuff. So it's like you can quick grab and paste them up. But all this to say that it was unclear initially whether to apply to some red or some not, and I think we kind of went with let's apply to the parts.
You can also go with your intuition to some degree.
To get irritated. Yeah.
You're not an idiot.
No, and it's also going to be clear where it's just like, if she's getting irritated by that, if that feels bad or so, then you're like, oh, well then, yeah, you should get some cream on that to make sure this doesn't get worse for sure. Anyway, all that is, it is interesting just like looking at this chart of all these little things throughout the day, and the app admittedly, so the funny thing is that because charting all this information is like clearly two things that are useful for a lot of people is like charting all that info and also having a white noise machine. So your
white noise machine's the best.
But like your camera has one built in, your snoo has one built in, the hatch has one built in, and the snoo app has your diaper changer tracker metrics if you want to use it for that. So does the like they're all offering all these things or whatever, right? But the one I ended up going with was one that a nurse recommended, and it was pretty good in the end, because basically me and Punch Mom can both just on the same app do things, track and update and put things in. And like, again, when you don't know, audience, but here's how detailed like things get sometimes. When you're breastfeeding, they're going to ask you how much time on the left one and how much time on the right. And you're actually supposed to like start and stop so that you can get a feel for how much time on a particular side was spent, and that'll give you a better indicator of, because you can't measure how much they're swallowing because it's hidden from you. So the time spent gives you
Also, they lie.
Also, they lie. So, right. So you're getting you're guesstimating according to the time spent, and then as you alternate, that also tells you more about like how the production is going to go, because as you empty one boob out, you got to get the other one in there, and you need to rotate the whole thing. So like it's actively a thing, you know.
Now, let me ask you a more ideological question. Are you the type of person who the data relaxes or cause anxiety?
The data relaxes because I just don't need to remember it because I wrote it down, you know?
Because for me, looking at the chart makes me feel like I have to do the chart perfect.
And this is where the warnings came in about the sock, right? Because that owlet got so much data, but there's a lot of warning from professionals on just like, if you are paranoid to begin with, this becomes a magnifier. So you have to be careful, right?
The owlet has a lot of good. We loved our owlet, but the owlet has one purpose, and the purpose of the owlet is the baby alive? When you're not looking at the baby. That is the number one purpose of the owlet. And tracking their sleep and all that other shit is like, it's all nice, but it's also not super reliable. But like, does the owlet give me a heart rate, or does it say 0 or error?
And so you can dive into these like threads where people are going, hey, I have an anxiety disorder. I find myself staring for hours, not able to peel away because I can't accept that the baby's going to continue breathing when I'm not looking.
Or you could have postpartum anxiety.
Right. And they're like, I'm getting this outlet so that I can relieve myself of that anxiety. And it's like, okay, that might help, but it also might make it worse. It depends. How are you expressing that? Because there's also moments where the contact on their ankle might just separate. And that happens, and but it's just a mechanical failure, but it'll give you a thing going, yo, alert, alarm, you know?
Yeah.
And I dealt with that personally because during my diabetes study thing, I was wearing a continuous glucose monitor, and every once in a while I'd roll over and it would just like the contacts would fail, and it would
then that means all the sugar in your body would fall out.
Yeah, and so like it's beeping saying you're having an emergency, go to the ER right now. And I'm like, actually, I just rolled over and like my gut just kind of pushed the thing so that it stopped connecting properly. You know.
You know what the owlet did, despite the fact that the owlet is not like a medical grade device and it's not to be used for this purpose. It did have one very useful non is baby alive or not thing, where it's like the heart rate thing is pretty close, and you can't take it as like a certainty, but you can notice trends, right? And what you can notice, which we noticed at a certain point, which was like, hey, that's weird. His BPM is like 10 higher than normal across the board the whole night. And he was fussy. Time for everybody in the house to get sick. Like we got just the tiniest preview. Time for everybody to get sick as fuck.
Oh, you can see it coming. Damn, that's crazy. That's nuts. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you know, in the end, that's useful to know. But some consensus-wise and such, there was an overall thing that's just like, this is meant for a month and beyond anyways. So do not use it before a month is the you know, all the official recommendations and in general, like for people with their casual suggestions too. So, excuse me. What I was going to say about tracking though is it is very easy to use one of these apps though to become like the bad data parent where, because, okay, things to track. Okay. So right now, yeah, hey, that's awesome. So right now I looked at it and I can see that, yeah, hey, right boob, 14 minutes, 31 seconds. Good stuff, right? Happening right over there. Now, all that is there, bottle feeds, diaper changes, vitamin D, you know, that you got to do, and then general weights, baths, and so on. But then as you scroll down into the other sections, it's tracking things like toothbrushing. It's tracking things like tummy time, crying, playtime, sleeping. And you're like, no. We don't need that level of granularity applied to every activity in life. Every activity in life does not need to be on the chart, but it allows you to do that if you're that type of person, you know? I mean, look, if it's something where you're like, it'll have like vaccination, doctor visit, temperature, etc. If you need to,
vaccination, do that one. But I mean, we got a phone call the week before all of our appointments. It was like, are you still on for your appointment? And we'd be like, yeah.
And to be fair, like if you forgot to do tummy time today, right? Then it'd be nice to be like, oh, we did it. You know,
some kids just don't do tummy time. Like that's a cultural thing as well. Like people in France don't do tummy time at all.
But if you have but if you spend more time on like doing tummy time with a parent leaning on their back, then you're going to get that development naturally, right? So depends on what your habits are. Like I spend a lot of my time with her, like leaning on me, so she's kind of doing tummy time that way anyway. Versus with mom, like she's never in that position.
Hold that thought. We got some young people who are like, what the fuck is tummy time?
Yes. So hey, what we're going to learn about as these days go on, folks, are the things that babies need. One of the things babies need is tummy time, where that is time spent on their stomach. Because generally speaking, babies who sleep on their sides or on their face down have a way higher risk of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, where you're going to choke on spit up or a million other things are going to go wrong. So don't do that. That's bad. You want babies to safely sleep on their back. In fact,
but that means they're on their back almost all the time.
Exactly, right? So swaddling them in, which means containing them and locking them in place so that they can't roll over and risk their lives by doing so, is nice and safe. Furthermore, when they spit up with their heads facing upwards or to the side like that, it's safer because, again, it's not going to block the air and come back up and choke them. Great. What you're getting from that, though, is also the soft spot on their head in the back and at the top needs to like even out by looking in both directions. So you want to make sure that they're getting enough rotation to, you know,
hey, I know
not
you're
get
new.
any things that going on there.
Let me ask you a question. Does your daughter have a preferred side to sleep on?
Her head, not yet, but her head is locking into place sometimes in a way where we're like, yo, stop, let me turn you that way now,
dude. Oh my god,
and it's so strong.
Hey, you got lots of time to do that, because that our guy was the same. It's like, I want my head over here. Like, no, I'm trying to even you out, bro. I don't want you to have like a square head.
Exactly. So what I'm doing is I'm unclipping the latches on the snoo on the swaddle, and I'm flipping the baby upside down to make sure that she looks towards the fancy glowing light with the heartbeat coming out of it, to be like, look over here. And it's like, okay, what's that? Good. Now make sure you curve out that side too. You got to get both sides. But all this to say,
it's like a pancake, man.
But all this to say that the weight distribution of you an adult, generally speaking, for women it's in their hips, for dudes it's in your shoulders and chest area. For babies, it's all in the head, and it's
like 99% head.
Yeah, it's a bowling ball with limbs attached to it with tape, right? So that means a baby doesn't have the arm strength or shoulder strength or leg strength to push themselves up and move around. You have to.
They basically got nothing going on.
They have to develop that, and the way you help them develop that is by putting them on their stomachs, so that they do struggle to do these kind of push-ups and learn to get the arm strength to manipulate and hold their bodies up as their head stops being the center of gravity for them.
Yeah, so the long and short of it is you put your baby on the stomach, and then you stand in front of your baby, you sit in front of your baby, you go, hey baby, look at me, look at me, look at me. And they go, I hate this, I hate you. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like doing a plank, right? When working out. It's like but it's necessary, right? So yeah, that's tummy time.
Dude, like I look back on it and it's so funny, but like I would get so upset because like you have to do your tummy time, and he would get so mad.
So she's like, you can hear her going and flopping to like position herself, but she's not crying as a result of it, thankfully. It's
It will be about month 3 or 4 before your child discovers rage, and then you will see.
I mean, we're getting different forms of hey,
No.
but it's not.
Directed anger.
Mm-hmm.
You will see your little girl look at you in your eyes, and you will see that she is mad at you for on her tummy.
Yeah, but it is necessary, right? It is. That's what it is. You got to do planks. You got to get tummy time in there. Anyway, so but like keeping track of that is something.
Look at this baby. Can't even train under 1 Earth's gravity.
What I want to know is like when can we go do a Nirvana album? You know, is that like immediately? Because they say scientifically it's immediately where you can start.
Well, I don't know if you're supposed to dunk the baby under the water, man.
Yeah, that's the thing is, and also like it's exhausting because the temperature change and all that stuff is a lot for them. They got to go to sleep immediately afterwards. But it is cool that it's like, oh well, they do open their eyes and can swim immediately, but I don't know if they should, you know. Anyway, so that's what's going on, you know. Diaper Gatcha and baby metrics.
Yeah, you're probably going to be just doing variations of this for about 2.5 more months.
Yeah. Like I said,
and then you're going to get used to the sleep schedule. You're going to get used to it. You absolutely are.
But it's that plus again, like you're like I said, you're working on spec. You're not getting any payment for this whatsoever, and then maybe in 3 to 4 months' time you'll get a smile, and then you'll get your pay. You know, but there's not a smile to be had for a long time. No. So it's all just intern work.
First of all, you've received the greatest payment of all, the knowledge that you're a big man.
Oh.
Because, like, I think, you know, like the boomer generation is so, like, fucking stupid, and they were always complaining all the time. But, like, one of the things that I don't see a lot of people talk about, I'll use my stupid dog here as a thing. When I was holding my little boy in my arms, and I was, like, looking at him, and he looked like me, and I'm like, I'm such a big man. I made the baby. Yeah, I'm so cool. Look at this cool thing I did. Not you. You're from the street. But yeah.
Yeah. No. That's baked in. Yeah.
And then you're talking to your wife and you're like, man, you made a little person. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Dude, we're like 2 years plus and we're still looking at this little guy running around singing he's singing his ABCs now. Mm-hmm. And we're just looking at each other going like, oh my God, we made like a little guy. It's so crazy.
No, like I was pointing out, I'm like, there was that thing that was inside of you. That was a person inside of you. You grew that. Yeah. That part is, I don't think ever gonna make any sense.
Oh yeah, it's we're still at like exactly the same level of incredulity as we were at like 1 month. But
I'm also like, can't I just shove the bottle in the umbilical cord? Can't I just
Wooly?
Can't you just feed them the way that they wanted to be fed?
That is not Dad's purview.
Yeah.
That is no.
And there is that perspective of like everything is crying because once upon a time the temperature never changed. Like I never got tired and I never got hungry because it all just showed up in my stomach. And
oh yeah, being out of the womb sucks.
It's all it is.
Yeah,
it's just denying you like the state of existence that was all taken care of. And now one by one,
there's weird guy here that is not mom. What's up with that?
Yeah. One by one, there's things like hunger that exist now, and temperature, and you know, light and dark, and you know, a million other bits.
I don't like this onesie.
Okay. Well, we got a little fancy this week, and we went for a 2-piece outfit. You know,
you're insane.
Well, it worked. It was very cute. It worked out. But there was definitely the like, are you seriously expecting me to pull this over their head? Like, what is wrong with you? You know,
like we're at this stage right now where we're like, all right, this shirt, you know, you hold up the shirt to the little man and we're like, yeah, this shirt, he has not outgrown this shirt. And then you go to put it on and you're like, his head has outgrown this shirt. Because much like his dad, my guy has a big ass head.
Okay.
And so like he needs to wear clothes that are a little big for him just so he can get his noggin through the neck hole.
It's wild. And then of course the shirts that you have at this phase need to clip through the bottom, and like, you know, that depends on how the diaper is clipped and so on. We put socks on, and it was like, let's just entertain this idea, and seemed to be fine, you know, for the most part for Punch Bomb. For me, she just would not keep her left sock on, you know, and she kept just kicking it off, and I'm like, okay, you know, whether it's just too small or too large, or you just don't like it or whatever, that's a thing. But like if they're down in a place where, so if they're not swaddled in and locked in with the sack or so, that kicked off sock suddenly is not just she doesn't like it. That's loose bedding. And that's loose bedding. You cannot have loose things, loose fabrics, loose anything in the thing where baby's sleeping. So, you know, you might idly just go not think of that as much, but in the context of being in the bassinet, it becomes a huge problem. So yeah, even just paying attention to that as well is, anyway.
You're doing a good job, bud.
We're doing stuff. We're trying. I also hate that the camera that we have, it does the daytime nighttime view, and at nighttime it switches to the black and white, you know, like night.
Of course it does, yeah.
But with black and white, you can't see spit up. So you'll hear like a gurgle burp, and you'll go look and see, and it's actually nothing, it's fine. But other times there's spit up, but it's not, the contrast doesn't show up, whereas in the day with the color it does. So sometimes she'll be crying and you're like, okay, what's going on? And it's like, oh god damn it, there was spit up. That's the problem, because she hates the feeling of that happening.
Just check 40 times an hour.
Well, you just got to check 40 times an hour. Yes, that's correct. You know, yeah. Anyway,
that's... yeah, having the infant is like, surely there must be a better way. Nope, there isn't.
I mean,
do it the hard way.
Well, there's parts where I'm just like, oh, can we get like moisture detectors, or, you know, or
no,
just...
it's your eyes. Use your fucking eyes.
Because it works fine half the day, and then the other half it just fucking doesn't. Anyway, that's fine. I also learned the hard way too, like, we were like carrying her out of the house, and I was like, okay, well, car seat, you know, and I'll just do that, should be fine. We'll pull up, we'll park, and we'll bring her with us. But then we ended up parking a couple blocks away from the place, and you're like, shit.
Hey, you know, that car seat's pretty fucking heavy if you gotta carry it more than 5 minutes.
So all of a sudden you're like, okay, fuck, we have to walk with the stroller that it clicks into, that, you know, and
100%.
And you're making these mistakes, you know, just not thinking about it. Remember, okay, so you pulled out the cool like instant changing station that you drop to the floor, and you go like, and it's all there. Got one of those, right?
Yeah.
And those things are handy, but the ones I have at home have the belt that locks her in. So when she's Sonic the Hedgehogging, I'm like, you stay. I can clean that butt. And does your travel one have a stop rolling strap?
No.
Okay, because I want to see if that exists. I don't know if that exists.
Doubt it.
Because I feel
because the travel one doesn't lock to the floor.
Yeah.
Right. So what you're supposed to be using it on is a changing table, and the changing table is supposed to have a strap. But every changing table I've ever used had a broken strap.
Okay.
So what you use is my pro tip on how to make sure your kid doesn't roll off the changing table when you're changing them out of the house is to use your fucking arm to pin them to the changing table and do the rest of the process with one hand.
This is one method. This has been used. I have gotten particularly good at putting a foot between each of these fingers and doing that, you know, so that they're all locked in with the one hand. But there's times where it gets fussier than others, and you have to basically go for the Hannibal Lecter, you know, strap him down, and just, you stop spinning right now while we clean you up.
If all else fails, they can't fall down if you're on the floor.
That, yeah. I have various changing stations set up throughout the place, and I'm getting down on the floor is difficult. I can't work as well for that for me. It's just my knees kind of suck.
Oh yeah, you want to hear? Hey, let me ask
Bigger
you a
guy.
question.
It's just
This might change your life, because I made a mistake. I made a mistake learning to change diapers. Do you change your baby's diaper with their head pointed to the left and their feet pointed to the right?
I watched you do this. I watched you put him down, and you were like, "Oh shit, wait, no, I have to be on the right side."
My kid's head has to be pointed left, or I can't change their fucking diaper. I literally can't do it. I don't know how to do it.
I've put them all. I was thinking about when that happened, and based on that, I was watching, and I put them all in a sideways orientation. But I mostly am able to change from like facing the bottom, you know. So, and it works well for the scoop and contain process.
Because I'm on autopilot at this point. Like I can change a mean diaper in like 30 seconds, as long as his head is pointed to the left.
Yeah. No, I can do either or. I haven't done right side yet, but like
that's smart.
It's versatility is going to be important. Yes. Also, because you gotta, you know, there's sometimes where you're like, shit, this is more than just a quick one. You know, this is a like your entire waist down needs to be like fire sanitized. You know.
Don't use fire on the baby.
No fire on the baby. But
bad to do.
Yeah, no, you know, but it's just like you got to get in there sometimes more than others, you know, and those are the ones where she also is being extra like. You
got to look at it from their perspective, right? It's like I've never had a gigantic like a person 10 times larger than myself change my poopy diaper. Well, actually I have, but I don't remember. I wouldn't be super good to go for it right now. Let me tell you.
So thus Liu Kang bicycle kick while it's happening. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of the deal. That's what's going on.